Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The name of this video is going to be, how can a man be born again? Okay, and that's a real question, man. Okay, because, somebody will read, how Christ spoke about how, a man has to be born again to enter Christ's kingdom. So one will think, well, how can you be born again? And we're going to read the discussion that Christ had. Let's go to, what is that? John, the 3rd chapter. Bear with me a moment while I pull it up. But we're going to get some understanding about what it means to be born again. Okay, this is the book of John, chapter 3, and let's start at verse 1. It says, "And there was a man of the Pharisees, named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahweh Shai by night, and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from Yahweh, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except Yahweh be with him. Yahweh Shai answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yahweh. Nicodemus saith unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? And can he enter into the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Yahweh Shai answered and said, Verily I say unto you, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I say unto thee, Ye must be born again. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is every one that is born of the Spirit." Right. But going back up, Nicodemus asked Christ, well, can a man enter into his mother's, stomach again when he's, of an old age and be born again? And Christ said, no, it's a spiritual thing, which when Christ said they got to be baptized by water, let's even read that verse again. Let me find it real quick. Verse 5, it says, "And Yahweh Shai answered, Verily, verily, I say unto ye, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Yahweh." Now, what does it mean by water? It basically means by knowledge. It doesn't, in this context, it's not talking about, physical, water. Because back in, Christ's time, right, when John the Baptist was on the scene, which was before, Christ, he was baptizing people by taking them, down into the rivers and waters, and he was baptizing them, in the name of the Christ to come. Okay, but then he said when Christ came on the scene, that Christ was going to baptize people with fire. Which is that literal? No, that's talking about with knowledge, right? And how can I show that the water here is not physical? Because when you go and read about the tree of life, right? Let me even, what? Hold on. Let me just pull up a precept real quick. Let's go to Revelation, the 22nd chapter, which is the last chapter in the Bible, just to show you something real quickly. All right, this is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 1. It says, "And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Yahweh and of the Lamb." Right, so it's talking about spiritual water. Okay, it's not physical water that's being talked about that you have to be, put in to be born again. It's talking about the knowledge. Let's talk about the knowledge and the understanding of the scriptures. Okay, that's how you're born again, is by, putting off the old man, putting off what you used to do, and by, relearning the scriptures. Okay, by learning the scriptures and putting off, what you, thought, before you came into this truth. That's how you are born again. Okay, it's not a physical, rebirth. It's more like a spiritual. Okay, that you have to spiritually, be re-educated. Okay, you have to be re-educated. Okay, because what you were taught in the world was a lie. Okay, so that's what being born again is talking about, that you have to put off your old ways to the best of your ability and follow after Yahweh Shai. Okay, so that's what it talks about, that he must be, born of spirit and of water. The water isn't isn't physical. The water is spiritual. Okay, the water represents the understanding of the scriptures. Okay, back in those times they used physical water, but in our times now we don't have to use physical water. Okay, that was back then. Let me see. Let's go to the book of Matthew, and we'll start at let's go to chapter 18, and we'll start at verse 1. It says, "And at that same time the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahushua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them. And he said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." Now what does that mean? Okay, it's not talking about physically becoming as a little child. It's talking about metaphorically. Okay, it's a metaphorical. Okay, that you have to become, that you have to put off, the knowledge of the world. Okay, and what you thought you knew, and come follow Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's just the way you got to do it. Okay, you have to put off what you thought you knew, in this world, man, and you got to come into this truth, right? Into this knowledge of these scriptures, man. And that's certainly, easier said than done. But that's just the that's just the cost in this thing, man. All right, you gotta sit down and count that cost, man. Okay, because let's even go ahead and get that real quick. Let's go. What is that? That's I want to say John the 14th chapter. Let's even read that real quick. All right, but the way to be born again, just to recap, is you have to put off the ways of the world and follow what the scriptures say, man. Okay, that's how you are spiritually born again. It's not physical rebirth, it's a spiritual one. Okay, you have to spiritually, be born again in this thing of ours. Let's see. Give me a moment. Let me just check this real quick to see if I got it right. Alright, so lucky I'm not gonna be able to find that verse I was thinking of. But in this in this thing of ours, man, you're gonna have to count the cost in this thing. Okay, because there's a with this truth, this thing of ours, man, this is a hard walk, man. Okay, but hey, it leads to the kingdom, man. Oh, it's lucky. I found the verse I was looking for. It was in Luke, the 14th chapter. Let's see, Luke chapter 14, and let's start at verse 26. It says, "If any man come to me, and hate not his father and mother and wife and children, and brethren and sister, yea, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you intending to build a tower sits not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Least happily, after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it all, and behold, it began to be a mocking him." Or Slaki, let me read that again. "Least happily, After he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish? Or what king goes to make war against another king, sits not down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? Or else, why the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassador, and desireth conditions of peace. So likewise, whoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he has, he cannot be my disciple. Right, so, come after Yahushai, which is, what we embarked on, in this knowledge that we have inquired, there's going to be adversity to come, man. And going back up when it speaks about, building a foundation, that spiritual mentions that, man, because I remember where I used to live, you had a building, down the road, you had a couple who was, just married, and they were, starting to build their own house. So they laid the foundation of the house, but they, broke up, right? So the foundation of the house was just left, right? Just the skeleton of the house, right? The bare foundation of the house. Okay, so they had to abandon it because their relationship got messed up, right? But that goes into this truth, man. Okay, just take that and put this in this truth that, look, this is going to be a burden, man. All right, this knowledge and this truth. If you go to, what is that? If you go to, bear with me a moment. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 1:18. He that increases knowledge, he increases sorrow. Right, the one who increases in his knowledge, he will increase in sorrow. Right, so, yeah, man, you got to count the cost, man, when you come into this truth. Okay, but, Salaki, I don't want to go too far, off topic here. Okay, but hey, man, going back to being born again, it's speaking about you have to put off, the ways of the world, man. Let's see, let's go to John 15. Yeah, John chapter 15, and let's start at verse 16. It says, Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye should ask of the Father in my name, he will give it you. These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Right. So that's what it is, man. Right. Since we, claim to follow Yahushai, who the world calls, Jesus Christ, the world is going to be against us, man. Okay. And what is the world? That's not talking about the ground. That's talking about the, the people out here, man. Right. The people are going to be against us. I mean, when you read about, how, Christ or, Apostle Paul, like, yeah, let's say Apostle Paul, man, when Apostle Paul, went to, to preach, many times, man, the people would, cast him out. Sometimes he got stoned. All right, but other times the people cast him out. Other times the people tried to, get him called up in, the so-called legal system to try to get him put to death, man. Okay, same thing with Christ. The Pharisees, saw how they might, capture Christ and, have him put to death. Right? Other people, picked up stones to try to, what's the word I'm looking for? To stone Christ. Okay, why? Because of the words that he was saying, man. Okay, so, that's just something to consider, in this knowledge that we have, man. Okay, that how to be born again is a spiritual thing. It's not physical. Okay, you just have to put off, the knowledge that you acquired in this world to follow after Yahushai, man. Okay, that's, pretty much the end-all be-all. Okay, that's how you are born again, is by, putting off the ways of the world and following after Yahushai. So anyway, I just wanted to do a little lesson. I hope that was edifying. And I'm going to say shalom.